continuing my live stream of my Rapunzel Tangled inspired Pascal character, the little chameleon guy. And it's nice to take a break and come back because I can see some things that I want to change. I don't necessarily love how they came out. Let me get my tunes started again. Okay, and the stream is working good, and we're back with the chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm noticing right away that I did some of these little wrinkles around his eyeball, and all that does is make him look neurotic and terrified. So I'm just going to smooth those out. Like, oh, that's not what I wanted it to look like. Just going to smooth those out a little bit. That looks a little better. It looked like he was like having a caffeine fit or something. Yeah, I could just soften a few things here. Can darken this last bit. This little bit at the corner of his mouth. So everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching. Hope you all had a nice break like I did. Had a little snack, stepped outside for a few minutes. I want to make this a little smoother. He's kind of got that permanent surprised look on his face like a lot of reptiles do. That sort of weird little scowl. Okay, now I'm going to work on the paintbrush. Let's say that's going to be kind of a dark green, dark purple. It's going to be dark green, reflecting him. Do a little bit of medium in there. And might be even some paint on it. Like it's a dirty brush. Yeah, we'll definitely see Pascal's reflection in it. And that's his little foots. Okay, and just to remind everybody again, we've got prints of this piece and all the pieces I've done this weekend, and they're 40% off right now. So you can get your fun little Pascal print on pre-sale. And pretty much everything on the website right now is 40% off. So take advantage of that while you can. All right, it's going to be a purple just to reflect the surrounding environment here. And I can do some highlights on it and it'll look metallic. there's that metallic, this whatever this part is called on the brush, that's what I'm doing right now. There's a couple of those little sort of divots in it. Just the ferrule, I think the ferrule, not really sure what it's called. As an artist, I don't really know the anatomy of a paintbrush. Yeah, this will have more reflections of him in it. Where is his actual shadow? Where does the brush end? I need to find. That's his foot. Something like that. And I'll have to make sure that's a nice clean. Well, it doesn't have to be that clean. It can be a little brushy. The paintbrush can be painted in a brush-like, painterly manner. It's kind of fun. Let's see. I'm going to do Pascal's reflection. Be a little more. I think this could be like his head up there. That could be his little hand grabbing. And there's his tail. And we're going to see that. Nice, so there's some reflections of him. And in general, we're just going to see the room around him. Let's figure out this right here. And here's maybe this. See a little more. I'm really inventing this as I go, so it's kind of hard. And the brush handle is going to be more of a sort of a woody red color. Here's the proper handle there. Make sure that's actually lined up with the rest of the brush. A little more this way. And it'll be a little darker toward the bottom. With a little bit of a sort of highlight up here. And maybe another highlight up here, like more of a blue highlight on top. A little darker. It's a little too much reflected light, I think. And when I do the whatever background color I'm going to do, I can chisel those back down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and use, this will be a nice dark brown for the bristles. I have to say I've never painted a paintbrush. There's been a couple pieces I've done here and there that feature an artist in their painting, but I have to say this is my first time just really painting a paintbrush, like as a main element of a piece. A little more brown in there. Make sure obviously this also lines up. This needs to curve inward a little bit. There's sort of a little shadow on the bristles as it just about goes inside the ferrule. Yeah, it's a little wide. I'll have to chisel that down. Or I could do this. Chisel it down that way, just to make sure it's constructed right before I start getting into too many details about it. So I'm going to put some blobs of paint on it too. And there's going to be some sort of a purplish paint on there, once again to go with the sort of purple theme of her dress. I can do a little bit of a shadow here. Let's do a little shadow on the handle. That feeds right, yeah. Let's carve this in a little bit so it's pointed in the right direction. That's a little better. Oops. Mineral Spirits is now leaking into my paintbrush. It's all right. Okay, now a blob of paint. Let's start with, I don't use that brush yet. What color is that? Let's clear myself some purple room here. It's definitely more of a blue, purple. Almost just like an ultramarine blue, I think. Yeah. Big blob of paint. Big round blob of paint. Some little remnants of paint here and there on it. Cool. Now let's do the dark. Okay, this is way too brown now. This is going to be a nice sharp edge here, because this is wet paint that she's using. I'm assuming it's an acrylic based paint. I guess I shouldn't assume that. If this was like whatever time period that's supposed to take place, they probably hadn't invented plastic yet. So. Maybe it's like an egg tempera. I was going to guess what kind of paint Rapunzel is using. And then we got some highlights. Or rather, we'll do some lighter planes. Big old blob of paint on there. That's fun. Now, some nice crisp bright highlights will be fun. They're not exactly white. Nice blob of paint on there. It's fun. Let's line that up. Yeah, that's good. Make sure I draw through my object. I don't want to have these two at a different angle and the head of the brush at a different angle. And it's kind of important, actually. This is a little off still. Yeah. Okay, now let's get I got a reference for her dress, sort of fabric color, and the embroidery. So I want just to imply that so it's like evoking that memory without implying that, oh yeah, that's what, you know, that's her dress back there. I just want to sort of have that as a motif in the background. So let's put these down. Let's do, I'll use a bigger brush for this. Oh. Well, I love how that paint came out really good. Alright, I'm going to need to clear some room for all these purples. Let's get rid of all this. So much green. I might need some of that later, so I will leave that. Okay, and the front here is going to be more of this sort of a not that light, more of the pink version of this purple, more toward the red. And we can get some medium in there. I think that works. It's a little light. Yeah, let's make that a little darker. And I don't want it to be too saturated. It's got to be kind of a dusty color. And it's going to be real soft, almost like blurry. So I'll do this soft background color first. Oops, got a hunk of purple floating around in there. It's making the lines. And all that fun texture I did is still showing through that. Take that chin back a little bit. And we'll do a smaller brush. For some of this detailed work. It's too light. I don't know what happened there. And I can use this to soften that edge too. Here's his little nose. We'll carve in just a little bit on that. All right, it's a little blotchy. Let's smooth that out a little bit. I want to paint around it without looking like I painted around it. Let's do a little bit more dark. Some of these areas. That's good. And then around here is when it's going to start to turn into the more darker purple version of this color. I can continue this a little further. I suppose I can mix a little more of this. I want that to go a little further, but it's a little darker now. Nice transparent layer of paint here. Oh, hi there, guys. Dima, thanks for watching. Kira, thank you for answering your questions. I love hearing about your process. You've become a Christopher Clark HB art fan. Okay. You learn some things you might try in your costuming. Oh, that's interesting. No, that's totally a great artistic medium. Absolutely. I'm wondering what I'm doing here that's inspiring your costume design. Is it for like hand painting certain parts of the costume or texturing or something. Maybe I can put a little whisper of this same color over here on the other side. Darker. A little darker. Yeah, just a little sort of complement on this side, I think. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to paint his little spines yet. I know that would be tough to paint around those in this situation here. Okay, now let's make more the purple version of this color. The more blue version, I should say. A little more white. Yeah, a little more sort of a dusty color. That's way too strong. Which means I could add what? A little bit of green maybe? A little bit of brown. My brown is just about a dried hunk right here. My transparent oxide brown dries easily the fastest out of all my paints. Even though I add stand oil to it, still has a mind of its own. I talked yesterday about how the mind works to create a color. Oh, okay. What was I talking about there? Yesterday I was talking about color a lot because I was doing the crow, and I was talking about how every object has a local color that people see, and then all the subtle colors that are in that color that a lot of people don't notice. Like this is a green chameleon, but there's all kinds of other subtle versions of that green in him. Changes in temperature and value and stuff is really what makes all the color variations work. I'm not sure if that's what I was talking about. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm glad I could impart some information, some knowledge that'll help you with your artwork. And yeah, hand painting on your costume stuff should be really cool. That's the kind of stuff that makes it really unique and one of a kind and other people don't have, you know. Trim off that. Use the background color to soften that edge and trim up that. It's still a little saturated. Add some brown to it, that's better. A little green, a little more medium. Fill in a couple of those obnoxious wrinkles, cracks in the medium. That's a little too much. I'm already running out of this color. this purple. There we go. Oh, almost there. I need to make more of this color. I might have a little more on the back of that. Nice. Okay, here's where I could use a nice sharp edge and a nice soft edge to show the brush going behind our friend here. A medieval recreation hobby group with a focus on 12th and 17th century Russia. Wow, that's very specific. That sounds awesome, though. All right, I want sort of a version of this. A little darker, a little more purple, a little touch of brown to soften that up a little bit, a little wax, a little medium. Perfect. All right, it's a lot more saturated in the video feed than it is in the real painting. That's all right. Okay, now let's take a picture of this real quick. Of course, it's shinier than hell now because it's got all this wet paint all over it, so I got all these reflections from behind me. See if I can block off one of them. Where is that? There's that one. Okay, now for some, actually I still might do those last because I want to do a little pattern back here. So I'll do his little spinies later. This will be kind of a lighter, peachier pink or something. Not much though. Subtle. This is what I need here. Maybe kind of a cross like this or something. Sort of a leaf, I think. I can soften all these later to look like a blurry kind of background thing. Don't usually paint scroll work. It's kind of fun. Maybe some of this can be a little more of a lighter pink color. I should do that over here. We'll put one of these here. I'm totally sort of inventing this pattern based on this one that she's got. There's even sort of a bluish version of that. All right, what's next here? I could do here, sort of an opposite of his tail, I think. That kind of works. Nice little French curve there. Maybe this could be a Just a couple more of these, I think. One more little leaf here. And there's a couple little things here. Funny, her dress, the embroidery, I wonder if she made it herself. You know, because it resembles a lot of the sort of artistic stuff that she would do. A nice big French curve there. Yeah, just trying to evoke that reference, I think. I'll put one more something up here. Something to help pull the composition. Okay. Now, to soften those, yeah, and then I'll do his spines. I want those to be very subtle background elements. Nice. I could probably go even more. I don't want to lose it entirely, but I just want it to be really soft and subtle. I think I was going to do like a drip, like a drop of paint falling too. That's something I could do easily as well. Smaller fan brush here for this little section. Cool. Yeah, nice. So it's real subtle background-y stuff. Um, let's do another drop of paint coming off it, like a little boop. That'll be fun. Maybe like right here. Little drop. Boop. I could do a little darker. There. Nice. Okay. I'm just about finished with this piece, actually. We're going to do some little spinies on his back here. I want them to be kind of subtle. Okay. Don't forget to take advantage of the sale we're doing today. 40% off all of our prints on the website, including this one here, and the Maleficent one I did yesterday, and the Nemo one I did on Friday. And generally, the entire website is on sale right now. So, 40% off. Today is the last day for that because today is the last day of our stream. There we go. Fun little spinies. Pascal, fun little guy, on his little paintbrush. Cool. This is to that place where it's probably done, but I will probably stare at it for another few days and see if I need to make any subtle adjustments to it. But in general, I think it's fine. I might go ahead and sign it. I could probably sign it right there. How much paint is on there? Not a ton. I could do that. I typically like to wait for them to dry before I do the signature. Let's get that pointed up. It's hard to adjust the painting and move the cameras around. Alright, let's get a brush here. Hopefully my big head is totally in the way. Here we go, let's do this. See how that'll work. There we go, now you guys can watch me sign it. You're welcome. We'll do a darker. Darker signature here. Not too much medium, because then it'll just drip down the thing. Good amount of paint. Okay, here we go. Almost done there. I have such a long name. There we go. And I can sometimes make a couple little adjustments here. Cool. Now let's see if I can pull this back. I can put this down, that'll help. Oops. See, this is such a pain in the ass to adjust this thing. I try to not do that too much. Awesome. Cool, there's a finished Pascal. So definitely check out the site if you want to order one of these, because he's amazing. He can be your best pal too. I'm going to take a picture of this again. Man, that's really hard to block that one light. Where is it? There it is. We got like a red curtain I'm trying to, or a black curtain I'm trying to use. That's better. That's good for now. That's basically just for the website, so that I can replace the charcoal sketch until I'm able to take a high resolution photo of the piece. I'll go ahead and welcome some questions if you guys have any while I'm cleaning up my stuff. Clean up for a few minutes, and please fire away a question if you'd like. Okay. Once again, what time is it? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. That's not bad. I don't like to end it too early in case people are still coming to check it out during our advertised time. This was a fun little series. I love painting animals in general. For a while I've been painting more like specifically endangered animals to try to bring awareness to that situation. there's a lot of animals on the brink of being extinct because of, you know, human development or hunting or whatever. So I try to get people aware of that situation and maybe a little sympathetic and, you know, excited to maybe do something about the problem, either by changing their own lifestyle or donating to an organization that you know, is a conservation organization that helps preserve those kind of things. But so, you know, essentially I paint a lot of animals, and we're like, oh, let's paint some sort of animals that might appear in you know, Disney or Pixar film. But like in a realistic manner, rather than like the specific one, the illustrated cartoon version for the, you know, animated version for the film or for the show or whatever. Let's do it as if it were a real animal. It's kind of a fun way to look at it. And then it's my own version, you know. Then I own it a little more. Rather than just copying the one from the film, I can have my own cool version. Do you usually glaze your paintings? Do you recommend that? Oh, totally. Glazing is basically letting the painting dry, and then you come back later with some transparent layers of whatever, and add those layers on there. Oh, I do glazing all the time. It's a way to get some really great transparent paint effects without disturbing your brush stroke, all the brushwork and stuff that you laid down. You can just add layers. You can do this as many times as you want. You know, like the old Dutch masters would glaze their painting several times, different layers, and that's how they'd build the painting up. They wouldn't just mix their color and put it on. It would be like, it would take them months and months and months to do one piece. Of course, they'd have multiple pieces going on at the same time, because you let one dry for a couple weeks, and then you come back and glaze over it and add some more layers of stuff. But oh yeah, I do it all the time. That kind of technique is, you know, that's one thing where acrylic paint works really well for, because it dries so quickly you can glaze over it instantly, you know, after just a few minutes. In fact, I honestly think that's really acrylic paint's strong point, is that it dries so fast. You can do, if I was going to do a full finished painting in acrylic, it would be mostly a glazing kind of concept, because mixing paint and adding it and trying to render in acrylic is not very effective at all. It looks very plastic, and you're just putting dried paint on top of dried paint, which for doing abstract textury stuff is great, but for doing subtle, soft, rendery stuff, it really doesn't look very nice, I think. So acrylic glazing happens very quickly, and that's how I would build up an entire painting if I were to do that. But oil, you do all your stuff, you let it dry completely for, you know, a few weeks, whatever. A certain kind of glaze. Well, glaze isn't a product. Glaze is a technique. You're glazing. You're not using glaze. It's not like you go to the art supply store and you buy oil paint glaze in a can. It's a concept. Glazing is the name of the technique. That's what you're doing. You use medium. You don't use mineral spirits or any kind of solvent, because that'll of course eat through the paint that's already on there. You use like linseed oil or any kind of oil, linseed, walnut, safflower, whatever you like. I have a couple mediums that I like. I like Galkid gel. It's almost empty. I like this solvent-free gel. It's a little slower drying than this one is. And then I like, I don't have the bottle here. These work really well. These dry super fast. So just be aware, this is Galkid, the actual Galkid medium. There's a thinner one and a thicker one. You can use actual linseed oil. You know, there's linseed oil. You can use stand oil. This stuff takes forever to dry. That's why it's called stand oil, because you can let it stand for just days before this stuff dries. Where's my, I'm gonna get my bottle, which I do anyway, actually. This stuff's probably my favorite. Solvent-free fluid by Gamblin. It's Galkid medium plus safflower oil. Yeah. So I'd say between these three, these are what I use the most, because I want it to dry a little faster. I don't necessarily want it to sit for days and days where it's wet. If I did, I would use like stand oil or something. But those are my favorite mediums to add to your paint, to glaze over your oil painting. I've also got some of this stuff. It's a cold wax medium. It makes it a little thicker. Makes it a little more. It's kind of like an opaque white, the stuff itself. So you don't want to use too much of it. But it looks like this. It's like a thick, white, opaque kind of pasty stuff. It's basically beeswax plus, I think, an alkyd medium. But this stuff is fun. It really, really thickens and firms up the paint. So any other questions, feel free. You guys, if you really like following my work and you want to see all these old videos that I've done, you can subscribe to our Patreon, which gives you access to every single streaming video I've ever done, which even over the last like 4 months is a lot. There's several dozen that I've done already. So check out our Patreon, and you can have access to all these, which includes all the questions that people ask me at the end. So you can hear more about the stuff that we talk about. People ask me for advice for stuff, you know, questions about my painting process, and so that's it. Could be a cool resource for you if you're studying art. And also, if you're studying art, there's you have access to all my painting videos, like my instructional videos, where I'm actually teaching painting, not just doing a painting and I'm happy to be here talking about it, or I'm actually, those videos are I'm actually teaching a painting course. So you'll have access to those as well. So I don't know, Nick, if you're listening, if you want to post a link to our Patreon, hopefully you have a link in your video description there. I suppose I could post that on here if he's not right on the spot there. So check out our Patreon. Sure, Dima, thanks. Are you the same Dima who I've spoken with a few times on Facebook? You're an artist too. I've seen some of your paintings. I don't know where you're living, but I know you've posted some of your paintings on there. So was that a yes? You are. Oh, good, awesome. Well, nice to finally meet you. I mean, you're meeting me more than I'm meeting you. So cool. Yeah, I've seen some of your stuff. You definitely have really great potential. So I say keep studying, keep working. and I think you're going to do some really great work. You live in Florida. Oh, cool. I've never been to Jacksonville. I don't know if that's near Orlando, but I've been to Epcot several times for the show they have there. I do a show with Lucasfilm where I have all my Star Wars stuff. So that's usually in February. I actually was there just this past February, or January or something. So if you're anywhere near Orlando, next time I come do that show, I'll post about it, and maybe I'll see you there. I'm painting for Star Wars for like 4 days usually in Epcot Center, so that's kind of fun. Okay, just washing off the brushes here. So cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. I imagine maybe early next year. Hopefully, if we're able to travel and do shows again, that's a really fun show. I admit I like. Of all the shows I do, that's one of the one that's more like a working vacation, because I'm staying at one of the Disney, staying at the resort nearby while I'm working. You know, I work all day. It's like I work like 11 until like 7, so I don't really have a lot of time to do other things while I'm there, but it is a really fun trip. Sometimes I'll spend an extra day or so on either side to do, I went to Harry Potter World this last time. My girlfriend flew out there and we went to Harry Potter World for a day, and that was really awesome. And I have friends out there that I see, so it's definitely a cool weekend. And the properties, the resorts, so you can walk around on the lakes and stuff, they're just beautiful. And I got to go to Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land in Hollywood Studios, which was just amazing. I'd love to go back there and spend a whole day just wandering around that place. Really, really is one of the most immersive parks I've ever done. That one and Harry Potter World are both like really immersive. Like you feel like you're in the world. It's really cool. So, okay, well, if there's no other questions, I can end the stream then. So thanks for watching, guys. Put that back up there so everyone can see that. Yeah, so please follow us on this video stream. If you want to see more of these, I do once or twice a week. And check out our site if you want to purchase any of our prints. Just for today only, they're 40% off. Even the originals that I did this weekend are 40% off. That's almost half off, so that's a screaming good deal. So check those out if you want to take advantage of that sale. And you can check out our Patreon if you want to subscribe and get some really great, what do you call them? Some cool benefits that we have exclusively only for our members, for our patrons. And you can help support the gallery so we can keep doing what we're doing, because it's a lot of hard work and we can't really travel and do shows right now. So this is all we can do, is have all these cameras in my studio, filming me working. So where's my water? And then if you want to subscribe to me personally, Christopher Clark Art is my hashtag in general on the internet, and it's my Facebook and Instagram. So check those out if you want to just see all of my work and comment on fun posts that I do. And that's it. I'm sure we'll do another one of these series soon. I'd like to revisit Harry Potter, maybe do some Lord of the Rings ones or something. But I need to flesh out those series a bit. So awesome. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Christopher Clark, painting for the Amazing Art Expo, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.